Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Devo and Kris Joe show. Always a pleasure to be with my guy. What's up, bro?
Always. Oh man, can't call it. Everything's good on my end. I had a game last night. We won by 15, 98, 95 to 80. Really good game, great execution. I was happy until I got home.
Well, I'm glad somebody got a win last night.
Yep, yeah. I had to get a win, man. I was actually watching the game, well, following the score more so, and I was, for lack of better words, surprised
Yeah,
at
I
what
mean,
I've
especially
seen.
against Georgia Tech team who came in 2-17.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, bro,
So, just we here now. We might as well dive in. We off the deep end right now. So what do you think?
So listen here. I mean, and this is kind of a number I've been following the last 3-4 games. I mean, the last two games, teams that have gotten up over 40 3-point attempts. I think Duke was the lowest. They had 26 3-point attempts. I'm not sure what the other game they had, but there's almost 200 3-point attempts in the last 4 games. And then I think the last two or three teams have gotten their career high in 3-point field goals made. And then we talked about it
Yeah.
before the show last night. A couple guys, one averaging 8, had 20, and then I think another who was averaging, I don't know, he wasn't, maybe 11, 12, had 24, and then another guy had 30. I mean,
Hmm.
offensively, we looked okay for I guess the first part of the game, right? First half of the game, maybe going into the second half is when it really started to go downhill offensively. But defensively, bro, it just looks like we're running like chickens with our head cut off. You know what I mean? Like stand still, hesitating, no rotations, no communications, and for real, another thing that really stands out is just the physicality, how teams are just pushing us around, bro. Like we're out there looking
Hmm.
really soft, like marshmallow. Like you get touched and you fly, and there's no type of
Crumbling.
crumbling, bro. And then when you start to have that type of energy, like it just goes on to the other end offensively, and that's what we saw in the second half. Like guys were standing still, the guys were shooting shots that they never shot in the whole season, probably in their career. Like it got to a
Playing out
point,
of character, bro.
playing out of character, and it got to a point, bro, last night where this is. I mean, and I will say this: my freshman year at DePaul, we got destroyed the last game of the year. It had to be about by 45, 50, possibly. I don't know. But then we ended up going on that 4-game win streak in the Big East tournament and winning the Big East tournament. So I mean, you look at the talent on that team and who we had, it was a different makeup anyway. But this right now, it feels like it can't really get much lower than this. It just, as far as from an effort standpoint, guys competing, like, and I don't know, Joe, and I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna. I just think that the guys they don't want to play hard for coach. It just seems like that to me. You know what I mean? Like they're not, but then again, like you've seen it before. You've seen these guys, they're capable. But over these last 4 games, it's just like, man, like
Yeah.
they're not playing hard for
Either.
him at all, you know?
Yeah. For coach, for themselves, for their teammates, it looks like a bunch of
All of
individuals
that.
out there. So at the end of the day, like it just seems like as though they've given up hope on a chance of an NCAA tournament run, maybe, and they're just thinking, well, fuck it. We're not playing for anything right now. But I always was a believer in you're playing for the name on the back of your jersey. You know what I'm saying? Before you're playing for the name on the front, you got to represent yourself. You got to represent your family to a certain way. Again, the kid that might have never seen you play, you got to play for that kid that has hopes and dreams. So it's a couple different things you can't play for. Pride being one of them, of course, bro. But yeah, it just seemed as though for the last couple of games, it just haven't been engaged the way that they're supposed to.
And
And true character shows, bro, when you're not doing so hot. True character shows when you're going through a crazy slump, whether that be within a game when you're shooting bad and maybe now your body language changes. It seems as though the body language for the past couple of games just hasn't been where it's supposed to be for an elite team to do what they're supposed to do.
And bro, I put it on Instagram this morning, and it just because I was thinking about the game, and I was thinking of like, just watching the body language of the players, and it just had me thinking like, you can't be great, doing what you want to do if you're not present and if you're not here in the now. You know what I mean? You can't focus on those things and really do them at a high level if you're worrying about trying to be somewhere else. You know what I mean? Or if you were thinking about, hey, it might be a little bit better over there, or like, that coach might let me do my thing a little bit more. Like you can't focus on doing your job right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I add value right now? How can I get better right now? Worrying about, I'm not getting playing time. I'm missing this shot, making that turnover. Coach is getting on me. Like a lot of the times that has you going into worrying about, hey man, it might be better at this other place. You know what I mean? You can't even focus on what your job is right now.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
I don't know if I just get that from some of these guys watching their body. Like they're thinking about next year already. They're thinking about, where am I going to go transfer to? And I'll tell you this, it's the grass is not always greener, because my question is, if you're not doing what you could do here, you can't put all that on the coach. Because this is, and I get it, right? Like in some situations, coaches could hold you back or hold whatever it is. But I think more so, Joe, and you would know more than me, at the NBA level that happens more at the NBA level, because now it's like it's a money thing, and
Yeah, exactly.
at the college level you have your instances where maybe they don't get along, whatever, he's not playing, but for most of the time it's on you. Like
Yep.
if you get the chance to go out there and do your thing and perform, that's on you. The coach really is not
Yep.
going to hold it. And I go back to like hearing stories about Dion Waiters. Like obviously he could have started, right? He could have been a starter on the starting five. He's one of the best five players on the team, right? But
Yep.
they say him and coach had whatever, they're going back and forth. He came off the bench. What did he do when he came off the bench? He made motherfuckers know that, like, oh shit, I'm gonna get drafted being a sixth man in top five.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And obviously his talent is he's a different type of cat, right? His mindset was like he's in kill mode. He wasn't even worried about what coach was saying. You know what I'm saying?
At
Or
all.
or anything outside of that. He was just gonna go hoop. But you don't, a lot of these guys, I just think they're getting distracted by the outside stuff or the talk, or coaches getting on them. And again, I don't want to assume, but I could just that's what I see from the body language. And now, Joe, can we go in there and say, yeah, I'll do some little things different? Maybe coaches and connecting with the guys is the best way. But so it's a little bit of both. But at the end of the day, you shooting the ball, you dribbling the ball, you passing the ball, man. You got to go out there and compete. And
Five.
you just said it. It's a type of pride you got to have about yourself as a player. Regardless if I'm winning or losing, I'm gonna go out there and play as hard as I can. Because now you
Yep.
trying to go somewhere else for next year or whatever. They looking at that like, damn, yeah, that's what you bring in here. The grass isn't always
Character.
greener, bro. Yeah. And where you gonna go,
Character, bro.
Joe?
Character.
You gonna go up or down? You gonna go up
Hmm.
or down? You gonna go from Syracuse to North Carolina, or Syracuse to Lehigh, or something like that? You know
Right.
what I mean? And this is me kind of
Nah,
just going
man.
all in real quick. You know what I mean, Joe? I'm just ranting.
No, but hey, it's fact. It's a fact. Character goes a long way, bro. Character could make or break you. Like, at the end of the day, this is a big business. It's a big community, right? If you leave and you go transfer, somebody has to, make a call to see what kind of character does he have? How did he act when and of course, a coach, whether it be the head or the assistant, is not going to bash a kid, because at the end of the day, we all truly wish the kids the best. And if you couldn't be successful here, maybe you could find success somewhere else. But at the end of the day, they always got to be honest. So if you're a kid who doesn't work hard, who is last, last to get in, first to leave for practice, things of that nature, and he wants to go transfer to whatever school, every school wants to be successful, bro. No matter what level, conference, they all want to be successful. Coaches want to move up. Players want to get seen, want more visibility. The more you win, the more maybe ESPN games, and now you're not playing on ESPN plus plus. You feel me? So like,
Yeah.
character matters. So wherever you transfer, you don't change where you go. You like the jersey changed, the person stays the same. So at the end of the day, these kids, whether they're thinking about transferring or not, they got to understand that calls will be made and the truth will be spoken. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. So, but yeah, no, again, like just the body language for the last couple of games been tough. 90 plus points for the last three losses for our opponent.
You're not
You know what I
competing.
mean?
You're
And
not competing.
yeah, it's just you going in there and you just hoping for them to miss. You're not making them miss. You hoping. Hopefully they miss tonight. You know, and on the contrary, what was happening is we're getting our heads knocked off. We're leaving guys open. But again, it was like the Duke game or even before the way that the guys
Clemson.
are penetrating and finding the gap. No, not even. I'm talking Duke. I'm talking Duke.
Okay.
When we played Duke, just from that point on, I feel like when guys were moving the ball, penetrating the gaps, kick, boom, extra passes, it's no longer teams being stagnant on the perimeter and just passing the ball from wing to wing. One time might hit the high post. Guys are being aggressive because there's so many gaps in the zone that are being created by just quick penetrations, bro, and they're exploiting that. And it's just leading to open shots. And at this level, you're playing in the ACC, bro, you're a pretty good player. You're going to make open shots, bro.
You're
going to make open shots. You know what I mean? You're going to make some shots. So, shit, at the end of the day, we keep giving guys them open looks, man. That's just what's going to happen.
And then we saw an instance in the second half, Joe, where we went to man for the rest of the game, you know, and then when we went man to man, and let's just be real, guys were getting by too. You know what I mean? And I get to the players. I mean, I'm gonna give them that. At that time of the game, we were down. We were already, down 20 plus. So to switch and just go to that, it is tough. I understand that, but at the same time, you got to compete, man. Like that's over these last 4 games, man. What was it? I think Duke, Clemson, last night. Who's the other one we talked about? Pittsburgh, at Pittsburgh. Like these guys aren't only making these threes; they're getting wild attempts. And what I mean by that is open looks everywhere. Like the ball is going in and out. The zone isn't stopping anything. Like when we had our good zones, Joe, like they keep guys out in front and like they keep that ball from like more so going side to side and around the perimeter. You know what I mean? It's getting in and out of the high post. Like guys, when it gets to the high post, guys are turning and just going high low. Like we're not rotating, we're not dropping. And it's not about obviously you got to know the rotations, but at the same time, like you got to compete and sprint down and be active and talk. Guys aren't talking. Guys aren't talking at all. Like we haven't seen that the whole year. The main guy who's be talking in the middle has to be your center, and I think Jesse he's had a solid year. He's had a good year. He's had a really good year. Over these past few games, though, he hasn't been good. Even sometimes you got a double-double, the impact wasn't there. Though the presence wasn't there like it was consistently early on in mid-season. So when you don't have that communication coming from your anchor, I mean, those other, then now you're relying on these younger guys, these freshmen, these guys who can't really see everything because guys are playing behind them, talking about the guards to do that communication. And it's a 5-man thing for the community, but it hasn't been there, bro. And it's not really. We could try to break it down and go into detail, but at the end of the day, like they're not competing, and that's the disappointing thing. And that's kind of when you look at the chat and Boeheim's done, he's old, he doesn't know what he's doing. That's not it. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to coach basketball. You know what I mean? At times, maybe he could go this and do a little bit more, whatever. You could nitpick, but what I really see is like the guys, the disconnect from the guys. They're not giving that effort. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not looking him in his face when he's talking. You know what I mean? Like in the huddle, it's like guys aren't encouraging each other. You know what I'm saying? Like
I feel you.
And I'm not saying that's Coach's fault, but at the same time, I guess it is his job. You know what I'm saying? And I love Coach, but I just want to keep it real. I don't see that from those players. You see what I'm saying, Joe? And you as a coach, and I know how you are, you can teach, you can break it down, but you such a high energy guy, a high level guy, a really enthusiastic guy that they're going to want to play for you just off that. You know what I'm saying? Just off. And when you get to this level, man, that's really what it is. Joe, when we were playing, Joe, we knew what to do when we had the ball in our hands, Joe. You know what I'm saying? Like when you just give us space, we gonna go make a play. But like we already had that energy, enthusiasm to play. When you don't got that enthusiasm and that,
You need to get it from somebody. You need to find it. You're seeking it. You feel me? You need to get it from somewhere, and you're gonna obviously look either to you're gonna look to your teammates, your staff. You know, if you can't find that within yourself, 100%.
I mean, as a ball player, you got to find it in yourself, though. You would think, right?
You have to. You have to. Yeah.
If you're trying to go to the
First and
top level and
foremost.
compete, but when you're not seeing it from your teammates, and you know it's hard for your coach to get through to you. I guess you ended up at a point where we're at right now. You know, like that was inexcusable basketball last night, man. Just the effort wise, you know what I mean. And I don't want to say these guys would play hard, but the body language was crazy.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's the
mean?
main
Like,
thing is if a person turning on the game for the first time, or whatever the case is, and you see that team or those five guys on the court at said time, they just didn't look happy. You know what I mean? They didn't look enthused about being able to play on the big stage. You're playing, in the ACC at Syracuse in the dome. You just got to have that certain, pep in your step, bro. It was just like I said, I think that they feel, and I could be completely wrong, but what am I playing for? Like, what are we playing for? Okay, now
right.
we had 7 games at some point. We had to win 6 out of 7 perhaps to have a chance at winning. At that point, to be honest with you, I believe that these guys were going to come out and play hard because, like you said, we had seen flashes of them playing extremely hard, winning some, losing some really close games. You think about North Carolina, a real close game at home that we lose, and a couple games
Miami.
and then we beat Miami. We go and we beat NC State, who's a top 25 team. So you know that they have the ability to beat these teams. But after those, I feel like maybe after the fact that, okay, shit, now it's over. Now there's no chance of us making the tournament without winning the whole ACC tournament. It's like the body language switch. And now what it comes down to is we have to win the ACC tournament, bro. Is it impossible? Is there a sliver of hope?
No.
Like, is it possible? And that's just being real. We're laughing, but to be honest, with the way we've been playing, this team can't go into the ACC tournament thinking that we have a shot at winning this whole thing. Because if you're going into a game against, because at the end of the day, you can't just turn that on, right? You got to have some type of a rhythm going into the tournament. That means let's go into the tournament with 2 wins under our belt. We're playing great basketball on both ends of the floor, and now maybe that momentum carries us over. And then we win 1. Maybe someone else loses that should have won. Now we have an easier matchup. Anything can happen, just like in the March Madness, bro. But it's that momentum that you need going in. You can't go into the tournament, into the ACC, with your stock going down. You already shot yourself in the foot. You know what I mean?
Bro, the crazy thing is to me, and it was kind of like it almost confusing, is like we've seen like these guys are talented kids. Like they're not bums out there. Like we've seen obviously Judah,
Not at
he's an
all.
NBA prospect. We've seen like guys like Chris Bell and Justin Taylor, Malik Brown. These guys have had success as freshmen. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta forget. We always forget. Like the fans forget. The chat forgets. These guys are freshmen. All right, and I'm not gonna use it as
Yeah.
an excuse, but if you go around the country, a lot of freshmen are just not even getting in the game, playing at all. You know what I mean? Let alone having significant minutes, having to contribute, and if they don't contribute, we're gonna lose. I
It's
mean,
on
that's what
them.
the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And so I guess it's hard to kind of take because we've seen how good they can be, and then these last 4 games, you just like, dang, they really look bad. You know what I mean? So that's why when I always go back to like it's effort. Like these guys are competing. Like these guys not getting up to play. They not playing hard. You know what I mean? They not giving everything because you're not losing to. I know Georgia Tech. They played great yesterday. They shot the heck out of the ball, but at some point, you're not even getting those shots off anymore. After you hit 4 or 5, really after you hit 2 or 3, like I'm there. Like you're gonna have to drive by me and
Yeah.
go in the paint and finish at the rim. Like they
Yeah.
was get
Just that
still,
awareness kicks in. The
yeah.
awareness, like, let me, yeah.
But
You got
that's
50
what I
points, but
mean
now
though.
when everybody now everybody's hitting. 2 people hit 7 threes, bro. You know, they had 18 for the game, if I'm not mistaken. So out of 2 players had 7. You feel me? So now we're going. Now they're getting put back dunks. We're finishing at the basket. Now we're feeling good. Our whole team, like you said, bro, a couple players doubled their scoring average last night. So now everybody's feeling good. We're celebrating. We feel that's what it is. And we've been on the other side of that too, like going on the road, like we were talking about one time on last show, and I was saying like I love playing on the road because you know when you shut the fans up and you're playing great, bro. Same thing. So we've been there when you're on the road and you're having a great game. Your teams we're going crazy, talking shit to the fans. They putting their signs down because they feeling bad. Like you feel me? So now everybody's hyped up. Now that energy that's supposed to be usually for the home court. Now Georgia Tech coming in here. You know, I heard Coach say that they're playing better basketball, but at the end, they're not a better basketball team than us. They played 5
Right.
guys all game, bro. I mean, we don't not that we played anymore, but
6.
they played 5 guys. You know what I'm saying? All guards.
Oh, and they had one sub the whole game. That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yep. And he barely really even played like that.
Yeah,
See what I'm
right.
saying? So they played 5 guys out there. It was just like pickup at some point. They were just out there having fun with it. You know?
And at one point, Joe, and you knew it was, well, you knew it was frustrating if you're getting out of that zone. If you go to man with 10 minutes left or whatever it was, then you know something. You like, oh man, motherfuckers is trying to figure something out. You know what I mean? And then you had to line up with Samir down at the bottom. So it was Joe, Judah, Samir. And then I think who was in it? Because Jesse wasn't in the game at that time. And I don't know if it was Benny on one side and then somebody, I forget who was in the middle, man. I can't even remember. But I mean, that's when you know it got bad. When you seeing that. Now you seeing guys like standing there offensively going down, Samir just taking threes. Like it just we talked about staying within, who you are as a player, not saying he can't knock down a wide open three. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like there was no rhythm to anything. Like that's what I mean by when guys weren't competing. You saw it. Like guys kind of gave up. I haven't. I don't know, man. It's kind of discouraging to see just because, like we talked about, we know they're capable of more, bro. We seen when the bench could come and contribute. Like, I mean, what happened with Chris Bell? Like, I know we haven't seen him the last few games, and I know it got to be something where he said something in practice or whatever. I know Coach said last night in the press conference is the last 6 plays of practice he didn't do anything. Like he did.
Yeah.
What was he doing? Just standing there, like not even running or anything. Like I mean,
it just seems like this year, man, it's been a few issues that shouldn't happen. I'd say, you got to come in with a certain amount of humility. You got to come in humble, and you got to pay your dues. If you're not playing well, if you're not happy with your role, then the only way you can change that is by working harder. To be honest with you, the only thing that fixes things in the world of, well, not just sports, just anything, bro. Like, but especially let's just stick on the topic, which is hoops, college sports. The league is a little more different because, again, like we mentioned, the money and the politics are even bigger. But you're not playing more than you think you should be playing more. A guy who was once a starter, et cetera, work harder. You can't allow coach to say whatever the issue is. He can't come in and say he didn't do anything the last 6 possessions or 6 possessions straight, and that's why. And he was going to start tonight, because now you're just giving coach a reason, to not play you or to not whatever
even
the
if
case
it's
may
dumb,
be. Like, don't give him a reason, even if it's dumb.
even
You
if
know what
it's
I mean? You
dumb.
gotta hard work. Hard work fixes everything, bro. Like you gotta humble yourself big time. And that doesn't mean you're not yourself anymore. You always remain yourself, but within some parameters, bro. Like you're yourself, but there's rules to abide by. You feel me? Like there's a hierarchy that you gotta really. All these things matter. And at the end of the day, if you're not playing the way you're supposed to, hard work is the only thing that could fix it. Whether it's hard work, okay, let me get more shots up. I'm not saying he's not working, but more. You know what I'm saying? More. Show that you want to be there. Show that you're trying to make changes.
Or doing shit like because all this little shit in practice where they'd be like, all those faces and motherfucking little remarks and shit. Coach don't fuck with that shit. Like you, because
At
at
all.
the end of the day, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm just saying coaches in general, like especially old school coaches who've been doing it forever, all that like smacking your lips and shaking your head,
Mm-hmm.
doing all that. Man, they taking offense to that. So like even like we talked about, it was maybe not a big deal what he did. He like, all right, fuck it, I'm not playing this motherfucker. He's not fucking
Right. It's
playing.
like I'm not, and he's thinking to himself, it ain't like we, you know what I'm saying? Fuck it.
Right.
What's the worst that could happen?
You ain't you ain't
You know
you
what
ain't
I'm
giving
saying?
me 30 every game. You ain't giving me 30, motherfucker, every game. Then
Right.
shit, you ain't gonna
Right.
play. Like, but at the same time, like, and Joe, you being a head coach, like, so when a player acting like that, you gotta teach them a lesson. He gotta figure it out because for real, if you don't teach him it right now, it's gonna hurt him in the long run wherever else he goes because he
Big
gonna
time.
stay doing that dumb shit. He just gonna stay doing it. So I
That's
get
what I'm
it, but.
saying.
But look, as a coach, Joe, do you do it in that way to where you're not gonna play them, and you need them? I mean, this team needs them. I think we need Chris Bell out there on the
Mm-hmm.
floor just to,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the
Mm-hmm.
inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's shown he could do it. But or do you go about it a different way as a coach? And like, cause shit, we need this motherfucker right now. No, or do you do it that way, not play him, or you play him and then try to let him figure it out in a different way? How would you go about it as a coach?
Two things. First things first. Shout out Red Rob 1984. He said they lack the three E's. So you're locked in. You know what the three E's are: energy, effort, and enthusiasm. You feel me? So shout out to Red
Hey,
Rob. I don't know if
hey,
you,
Red Rob.
I don't know if you've been to a camp and you heard us say it, or you just heard us say it
Yo,
on the show. But the
that's
three E's
crazy.
is crucial. So that's crucial. But
Yes,
to,
that's a fact.
to answer your question, nah, I make them feel it because at the end of the day, I had to sit kids too, right? Kids that I actually need. And it was just like to prove a point. Now he understands, and trust me, they fall in line because they're here to play basketball. So you could make them run suicides and run the steps and do all that other shit. But all that is like damn near helping them. You're getting in better shape. Yeah, it's a punishment. But if they see it as I'm getting better because I'm running, I'm getting in shape. I hate that I'm doing it. But now if you take away
That's
the
true.
game, now they're like shit. Now look, damn. Maybe it might have been a coach. Matter of fact, it happened. We went to Pennsylvania to play in the Perkiomen, a Perkiomen event. We played against Maurice Spates's academy, his team. We played
Hmm.
three games out there. But before that, there was an issue with a kid who we do need on the team that I didn't bring on the trip because he had missed the practice. Then he came late. It was after Christmas break about. Then he came late. Then he had came to practice. I said, "You're not practicing because you came late." He ended up leaving. So there was some stuff that happened, and I said, "You're not coming on the trip." And he felt like I was wrong, but I'm like, so how does that? First of all, how does it look to the team if you did all these things right when these guys were here busting ass, you weren't around, and I let you come on a trip? Already that looks so now that might start a trickle down effect where kids think they can do whatever they want to do and get away with it. That's one. So two, now he felt, and since that time, that kid has fell in line because he felt like, damn, I missed out on an opportunity already, bro. We're in Canada, Montreal, Quebec. We don't get, this season we didn't play. We played in two events in the States. So now you're taking away opportunities. There was Division I coaches, Division II, JUCOs, whatever you want. There was
Yeah,
teams out there watching this tournament. So now you're thinking about it and you're saying, shit, like that was stupid of me, bro. Like I'm never going to do that again. And he hasn't done it again. He's actually been one of the kids that are demonstrated the most energy, effort, and enthusiasm since, because now he understands like it's not a game. So you need him, but you got to make that call. Like, you know what? It's going to hurt the team
yeah.
right now, but in the long run, it's going to help the team and help the kid wherever he goes next. So that's how I did it.
And I agree with you 100%. And I think whatever is going on with the Chris Bell situation, if it's to that like extent, if it's like that, then yeah, he needs to learn. And he probably shouldn't be playing. But and too, Joe, like if he's not playing and he does want to end up going somewhere else, how are they going to see how he did, how he fared? I mean, I'm sure he has enough
Mm-hmm.
games or he has a connection to get there, but I always go back to what we talked about several times on the show and just, in person. Like when you run from some shit, like you run
Yep.
from that adversity, you run from, coach being a dickhead to you, and coach has been a dickhead. Let me say this real quick too, man. Like when you playing, you're probably not going to fuck with your coach all the way, 100%, your head coach.
Facts.
When I was playing, you're not going to respect that man or who he is as a person until when you're done and when you grow and get older and when you really realize what he was trying to do for you. You know what I'm saying? Like even when I was a player, I didn't particularly fuck with coach like that. Like
Yep.
I probably be like, man, in my room to myself, or I'm talking to man, fuck coach, man. He ain't doing this. He doing this. He's saying this. But now when you're done, you realize, you understand, and you respect him for what he did
And you know
and
what?
the lessons that he taught you. Go ahead.
And I didn't mean to cut you off, but that just
No, you good.
to piggyback off of that, bro. And you see how many, again, we've said it how many times, how blessed we are to have all played for the same coach. But you see how many guys that played in the 90s, 80s that come back and love coach to death, that can't say a bad thing about coach today because of all the things that he may have done while they were, bro, come on, bro. Like, and I feel you because I've been there too. Man, coach not playing me. I'm transferring. He on some bullshit. Nah, fuck that. Da 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 da. Coach tell me I'm fucking done. All right, bet I'm done. I'm out. We going back and forth. I love coach today, bro. Like, I mean, I love them. Love them then, but I love coach today, and I could go back and like really when I sit down and talk to coach, everything makes sense now. Obviously, like you said, now you're older. You're more mature. You have kids of your own. You do things. Now you understand more about life. It's not all about you. And there's certain things that have to be done for a team to work. Everybody has to fall in line. So, like you said, bro, years later, you go back and you're like, yo, you got to thank coach. Just like when he was on the show, we both had to thank him just because, listen, I know it wasn't always easy when we were there, but at the
I
end of
know
the
it
day, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. That's the same thing I tell my kids today, bro. It's like, my hope is, yes, I yell. I ask you to do your job. I damn near, expect perfection, although being perfect doesn't exist. I want you to strive for that shit every day, whether it's practice or games. And you guys might be. I heard a couple of my players say, "Yo, fuck this guy." Like I hear them see, and I've been there before, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like
I can't. Hey,
I've
look,
been there,
bro. I can't see how they do my guy like that though. You too. Nah,
no,
you too good of a dude.
hey, that's what I'm saying. And that's how I feel. But what I'm saying, man, when I'm yelling at you for not being in your gap, or I'm yelling at you for not making the right play, and I sub you right out because you subbed in and your first play on the court was a turnover, and I hear it. And we've been there, and I know all the shit you want to talk under your breath. You could, what I mean, talk to your teammate. Nah, but in 5 years, bro, when you come back and you potentially, you've gotten your Division I scholarship or Division II, whatever it may be, where your basketball journey takes you, and you come back and you talk to the kids that are at the school and you say, yo, listen to this man. Because a couple years ago, I didn't listen. I didn't like what was going on, but at the end of the day, it was real. It was tough love, but it made me better. That's all I want, bro. And so I've been there. I understand it and shit. Some of that, I'm telling you, bro, they be cussing me out, bro, under their breath. I'm like, all right, bet. One time, what'd you say? What was that?
Right, exactly. Huh?
I gotta look
Huh? The crazy thing is, Joe, like
Word.
they don't get it. Like, bro, that was us like 10 times because in my mind, I'm so more competitive than y'all already is right now.
Exactly.
So like
Right.
I'm getting
Right.
frustrated if I'm not getting the ball or just some little shit will get me because I'm so competitive. So like that's what they don't get. Like when you coming back at me, man, I was doing that same shit. So you can't, you know what I mean? I already know what time it is. Like, and then another thing is now, and we got to be careful now though, just to be real. And it's, in the state of like with everything going on with mental health and everything, and we get that it's hard, and I'm not trying to say, and I'm not trying to downplay it, but I'm just saying when you do go through some adversity, you can't. You got to try to. All right, let me figure this out first. You know what I mean? Let me figure out what do I need to do to go ahead and get through this, or make the situation a little bit better. I know Coach isn't the most approachable dude. I know that he's not the most approachable guy, right? But I know there is an open door policy, for
Yep.
him and for all the coaches up there. So if you
Yep.
are going through something where you feel like, all right, you can't do it or handle it by yourself, you got to go up there and be able to talk to the coaches. And I think, if it's not Coach Boeheim, it's, Red, G-Mac, Griff. those dudes are easy to talk to, and they're more than welcome to invite that type of conversation. You know what I mean? The players need to know that more so, and that's a whole group effort right there. Just letting people know that, hey, we're here for you guys. If you going through something, you getting in a you're down because you're not playing, and it just kind of builds up with everything else that might be going on. Like, you got to be able to talk about it. But if it's just like, you worry about playing and you're not playing and it's inconsistent, first of all, it's probably because you're inconsistent. Right. And then second,
Yep.
you gotta, like you said, Joe, get in the gym. Like, you're gonna have to do shit that you don't necessarily like to do. You might have to go up to coach and be like, man, coach, what you think I need to do defensively? Like, rotate better a little bit. He'll be like, oh shit. I guarantee you not one
Yeah.
player this season went up to him and asked him any type of question like that. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong, but very few, if any. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
that's
'cause I know I never did that shit.
me neither. You know what I'm saying? But now the thing is, like, and I was talking to assistant coaches, though. I know I was doing that for sure, and I know you were as well. But now looking back, we're just trying to throw game out
Yeah,
there for
no
these
doubt.
guys.
No doubt.
Like, yo, that would really help you. Like, just even his approach to you. You know what I'm saying? We know Coach Boeheim is not going to change for real, all the way. But I think maybe his approach and how he considers some things, it depends on how you come at him. You know what I mean?
No question.
How you talking to him instead of giving him that smirk or like the side eye or just ignoring him.
That's that.
Man,
That's that being humble. That's that knocking on the
for real. That's that
office
ego.
door and saying, Coach, man, like, I want to be better. Can you help me? Like, what can I do? Coach has seen, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he'll give you some sound advice. You just gotta be willing to accept it. The thing these days, I think that, like, kids have a hard time accepting help. Maybe because they don't trust as much, or because they know, these days there's so many shiesty motherfuckers out there, so they don't know how to really accept the help that's being given to them. Perhaps that could be a thing, but, like, that's your coach. Go talk to him. Like, and obviously, these are all, everybody on the staff. Again, the blessing is that they all play for coach. So, of course, they have a great idea of what coach would suggest if a kid came to them to talk, because they're an extension of coach in more than one
Right.
way, right? But sometimes you got to go to the man and just talk to him and just see, like, let you go to him instead of him coming to you and saying X, Y, Z, because it happens few and far between where coach will come to you and say, you could have done this, or you should do this. If you go and ask for advice to how to become a better basketball player, he's going to help you.
And just that relationship, that player to coach relationship, is a little bit better. And and again, I didn't do that, man. Back when I was playing, my mindset was nowhere near to even thinking about that. Like, like, we already probably what they're thinking. Like, man, fuck coach, I'm gonna go hit my AU coach up or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever it is. But now looking back, like, those are the things that really could help your situation. Because again, like, going back to it, transferring is not always 90% of the time. I'm just gonna be real. 90% of the time, it doesn't work out, yo. Like, I mean, and you go back to all the recent transfers from Q's, bro. They didn't really have any success, man. Like, going to where they're going, even when they're playing right now, you're not. You if you tell me that if they stayed at Q's, they wouldn't have had the same success or more, absolutely they would have. And the team would have been a whole different look. People forget about all that stuff that happened. All those transfers, and yes, the zone is getting harder and harder to play. I'm looking at the chat. It says, does the zone still work? If you work, the zone will work. I tell you that. But now, look, that's not saying it's going to be a little bit harder now, because guys are shooting deep as shit. You saw yesterday, and it's just crazy the number of attempts that they're getting. That's effort right there. You know what I mean? That's effort. And I guess the game is more focused on perimeter. It is, bro. It's just more perimeter oriented now. It's like you said, guys 1 through 5 are stepping out, picking and popping, shooting the ball. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's harder to play the zone. Now, look, am I going to play it? I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it. Like, I want to be able to lock in on man and like get the players that I know can really compete and play hard man-to-man defense, being help side, and depending on how you play the man, boxes and elbows, like a lot of man is like damn near zone too, Joe. Like how they play
Yeah, nah, for
off.
sure.
You know what I'm saying? So, but for me, okay, you can have that mixture in there. Like if you want to put that zone in a special situation or whatever to try to surprise them. But right now, as the game is going or how it's been, I need guys who are gonna play man to man and compete hard as shit on that end. You know what I mean? Like you gotta have the dogs too now, Joe. Like you could show them have them a system and do this, but if they're not willing to put in the effort and compete and be a dog out there, it's not gonna work regardless of what system it is. You know what I mean?
Facts.
But I mean, what do you think, Joe? Like how the game is now? If you the head coach, and I don't want to. I'm not saying anything like, but what would you do, man? What would you do? You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, to be honest, regardless of what your primary defense is, right? In this case, Syracuse, obviously, our primary defense is our zone. There should be some time that is dedicated to really being able to switch to a man-to-man if need be. You know, for me, for instance, like we play man, but we have a 2-1-2 zone that works really, well when we need to. You know what I'm saying? I know I don't do it for the whole game. I might do it for half of a quarter, just depending on the time and situation of the game. But I feel like you should always have a secondary defense to go to. We can't go to man, for instance, and now we're just getting killed because now we're like, fuck, we're all out of ideas. They're killing the zone. Let's go man. It makes sense. Obviously, it makes us okay. They're killing us in the zone. Let's go man. Maybe they'll hit less shots. But we got to be able to know how to play because that's a whole nother set of rotations. That's a whole nother set of now I got to, I've been sitting in a zone, right? When you're sitting in a zone, you have a zone to cover. You have an area to cover. When you're playing man, your man go from the left baseline to the right baseline, and you now got to know how to follow them off of staggers. That's something that you don't really learn playing the zone, which goes back to why all professional teams, bro. Well, professional teams, yeah, I can say all professional teams. Once they know you come from Syracuse, they have the question like, can you play man? How was it? Did you know how to? You get drafted throughout the whole draft process. They ask you, can you play man? Do you think you'll have a hard time transitioning from playing zone for 4 years to now having to play man full time? And it's a struggle because you don't learn the details of playing a man-to-man defense. So it is important, in my opinion, to have a secondary defense that will work as effectively as your first one if shit is going wrong. And you should be able to flip back and forth. Like on a make, we go man. On a miss, we go zone. Whatever the case may be, just to throw defenses off. It's like, shit, now we don't know what they're going to do. You know what I mean?
Because now, bro, too, and you brought up a good point. Because NBA, for real, they're not playing zone for real. You might see it sprinkle here or
No.
there once or twice. That's all man. And this school that Syracuse is, high level school, the guys that are coming here, their next step is they're thinking the NBA.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So for recruiting purposes, now I'm just thinking it helps a lot more too when you showing that you playing this defense that is suitable for the next level, like that is going to translate to
Translates.
the next level. You know what I mean? Now you getting guys that might be, more high level guys coming here, because all right, now I'm competing, I'm playing. Not saying the zone hasn't gotten those guys, but primarily now, like I think the zone would help like it helps like big guys, like in the middle, like so showing that they can move in the middle and then that they got a rim run, but you got to do that in man to man. You got to do that regardless. And that's me just
Yeah.
kind of thinking some quick like, all right, maybe the big guys could benefit from more. But nowadays, like the wings in the guard in the point guards, they got to be showing what they could do, their athleticism, their quickness, man to man, like getting it and going. Like, can you keep guys in front of you? When can you help? Same thing with bigs too, though. Like, how are you going to be when they get by you in man to man? Can you block shots? Can you be a rim enforcer, a guy that changes
Can
shots?
you
You know what
stay
I mean?
low? Yeah, for sure. Yep. Can
Yeah,
you switch
can you
out? Could
guard
you,
pick and
yeah,
rolls? And that's another thing.
exactly.
And I guess maybe I'm wrong saying it benefit big man or the zone now because they want to see how mobile you are. Can you guard, like you said? Are you switching? Can you keep them in front on the switch? Can you guard the pick and roll, the pick and pop? So I just think from a recruiting standpoint too, bro. It definitely helps showing that. All right, we could play man to man. I think we're going to get more guys in here that are high level. I don't know. It's tough, man. It's tough to say
It is. It
because
is. It's real tough, bro. And one thing I can say is I'm glad that I'm not in coach's seat from that standpoint, where you got to start making these decisions and think about all these things going forward. We got a question there. I'm pretty sure you're reading it right now.
yeah.
A
What is
love
it?
child named Tom. That's funny as hell. NBA is no defense with some sprinkle.
No. When
But
you get in the playoffs, though, when you get in them playoffs,
yeah, they
you're gonna
play.
see that
Yep,
defense
yep,
now.
yep. You're gonna see it.
I was looking at
Not an excuse. Not an
Yeah,
excuse at all. But
exactly.
do you
That's
guys
one.
think that
That's the
any
one.
towards a program as coaches? I mean, it's possible because now it's probably a lot of, again, kids read everything, and the questions that are being asked is all about defense. And I'm sure the reporters after the game, they want to ask about, like, they ask them how they feel about coach's situation, and it could be like a dark cloud around the program in that sense, where now we're not even focused on basketball. We're focused on, okay, they're asking us about coach every day, or what do we feel about coach, or
Right.
reading about coach. Coach got to go. Coach got to this. Coach. So at some point, they might start believing in that shit. I don't know. This is just me thinking what could be a possibility. Everybody's saying
Yeah.
coach got to go. Coach is this. Coach is that. Bro, at some point, you read it enough, you're going to start psyching yourself out. Like, shit, yeah, maybe he do got to go. Maybe it's not me, bro. Like, maybe, yeah. So now you really never know. Right? And they start
Yeah.
reading it. They're seeing it on Twitter and this, that, and people sending them articles. And, it was a couple things with coach from the time that he said the NIL teams paid for their, so it's a whole bunch of stuff that's been going on that kids are seeing, and kids being so gullible, no matter how grown they think they are, bro, it might be able to seep into their minds, and they start really, oh fuck, this might be true. Like, nah, now they start going against the grain. Yeah, coach gotta go. You never know, bro, how it's going. Even
Yeah.
if they're not voicing it out loud, they might be thinking it.
And I'm gonna add another layer to it. Now they thinking, shit, coach not gonna be here. Who the fuck gonna be the coach? You know what I
Right.
mean? Not like who am I gonna play for next year? That recruiting wise, big fella just committed. Who I'm gonna play for? Now I know inside, like they probably know what the situation is gonna be, whatever, more so than we do. But I mean, those guys really don't for real either, bro. I remember I was on staff when I was on staff, and Coach Hop left. Man, I ain't know anything about Coach Hop leaving at all until I seen it on the screen against, and we was playing Ole
Oh
Miss.
shit.
We was playing Ole Miss. We had lost to Ole Miss, I think, or it might have been before the game. I seen it. Coach Hopkins leave to be taking the wash. I said, "Damn." Ain't nobody. I was
Right.
right there. I was in the office every day with him. You know what I mean? So like,
Had no idea.
I had no idea, bro. So it could be one of those, but I mean, at the same, it just puts a lot of things in limbo for not only
Yeah.
the players but for the coaches as well on staff. You know what I mean? Now they're trying to
Yeah, I
figure
agree.
out, what's going on. It puts a lot of pressure, bro. And what I think, and I'll try to get the fans to try to put this like in perspective. Like it puts a lot of pressure on these people's families, yo. Like I'm talking about the coaching staff's family, because now they got kids that go to school. They're here. Their families have been here. Now they don't know what the situation is like next year. So I'm going beyond the basketball. Now I'm going like into their family lives. Like this, it's a lot of different shit that comes into play, man, with what everything that is going on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Recruiting with the players, you go to it trickles down to the coaches and their family situation and all that, man. So it's a lot of pressure on everyone. And I think, bro, when I was listening to Coach Boeheim last night on the press conference, he sounded really like he fell back a little bit, right? Like he just like damn, like yeah, it's all the opinions, whatever everybody's saying. They're not saying you're right, but it's kind of like he sounded a little defeated. Like damn, like almost like what do I do? Like how do I get these guys to play hard? Because it's no
Mm-hmm.
like we say, it's no breakdown detail this and that. Everything is pretty clear cut of like what it is and like what needs to be worked on. Like our fours haven't been consistent the whole year at all. We haven't got anything from that spot for real, for real. And to the guys, dismay or whatever, like us, we're being real with it. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it
Mm-hmm.
is. You know what I mean? And then two, it's hard to do. I get it's hard to have that consistency when you're not getting that consistent playing time. But at the same time, you gotta be there. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? When you get
Yeah,
the
bro, it's tough.
opportunity, it
You
it, it
gotta be
is
out there. You
tough,
gotta be
man.
ready for it. So
It's a lot, man.
exactly. I know we're doing a lot of talk. We're chiming in. We're trying to give us, give our 2 cents, and we're trying to. But regardless of what, bro, it's different when you're actually in it. As much as we're looking from the inside out, but we're still not in it in this particular situation. We know how things happen within the program. We know Coach. We know GMAC, Red, Griff, Schwarls, Kabilis. Like, we know everybody. But at the end of the day, we don't know on a day-to-day what's going on within, behind those mellow doors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. We
But
we know the
shit,
defense shitty as
we
hell. We know that defense shitty right now.
yeah,
We know that.
yeah, that we do know that. We do know that, brother.
Yeah,
We do know that, man.
yeah.
That shit needs to fix up. But with maybe a little less than 10 minutes left in the show, let's break away from the somber topics, the
Yeah,
losses,
negativity.
things of
God
that
damn, let's
nature.
get some. Yeah.
Let's uplift ourselves. This weekend we got something fantastic coming up, fantabulous, marvelous. It's alumni weekend times mellow. I said mellow. Hack and GMAC. You know what I'm saying? Jersey
Yep.
retirement times senior night times. Everybody gonna have a great time, bro. Starting with Friday, we got the watch party, wherever it's gonna be at. I hope to make it. You know what I'm saying? If I do, by 9 p.m., I'll be seeing double. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm
Let's
looking to
get
have a
it.
great time. I'm looking to have a great time this weekend in Syracuse. Then Saturday is the game. I intend to get a great lift in with my man, the one and only Ryan Kabilis. You know what I'm saying? My man Griffin Hoffman. Shout out to my boy Griff. ED, we're going to be in there. We got
Ooh,
our
I'm
circuit
in there,
going.
yo.
Get some shots up afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Feel like a trip down memory lane. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I think, I know JP is going to be there. I've seen him post.
Yep.
So JP always been a solid guy, someone who I always, was able to lean on, and him being able to give me advice throughout my career at Syracuse and beyond. So it's just going to be great to have again, why I think we're so blessed to be under the same roof with a lot of people who play for the same coach and so much knowledge around in the building, man.
Hey, bro, and you said it. You just said it, man. Like we are blessed because at the end of the day, this is basketball, bro. It's just
Mm-hmm.
hoop. Like, yeah, they're struggling. They're losing games. We're not used to it. Last 5 to 10 years, we've been struggling.
Yep. Yep.
All that. I get it. I get it. But 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 we here. And we blessed, like we fortunate to be able to even talk about this stuff and have this show, and you know what I'm saying. So like it kind of like, and
Yep.
okay, yeah, oh, he's getting into that, he's talking about that stuff. Yeah, I'm talking about that shit because that's some real shit. Like we let like things like this affect our overall lives too much sometimes, man. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
from a 19, a 19-year-old, a 18-year-old, 20-year-old, we base our overall feelings of how we feel off of them if they win or lose a basketball game. A lot of the time, bro. You know what I mean? So it's
Yep.
it's good to like talk about it, and we like it because it's a sport. It's cool to talk about like what we could do better, what, you know what I'm saying, what we did right, all that. You know what I mean? Is coach gonna be here? Is coach or not? Yeah, it's cool. It's like, it's good to get in those conversations, but at the same time, you got to come back and be like, this isn't gonna affect like if I'm feeding my family, you know what I'm saying, or if I got a roof over my
Yeah.
head, or if I got a car to
No
drive to
question.
work. You know what I'm saying? Like
No
that,
doubt.
you can't let it get to that level. But let's have fun with it. But at the same time, let's realize we blessed to do this, man. We blessed, like you talk about this
Super.
weekend. Oh man, what an unbelievable weekend it's gonna be. Like, and I'm happy like we can have it too for coach because I bet coach is stressed
Yeah.
right now, regardless of what people see. Like it's a lot on him, man, because he's been doing this
Mm-hmm.
longer than anybody, longer than we been alive, anything like that. Like
That's
he's
a
been
fact.
there from the beginning. So now, like when you hear this talk of like it coming to an end or whatever it may be, man, that shit gotta hurt a little bit, man. You know what I'm saying? It just that's something that this is been in this man's heart forever, man. He's been a staple in this community forever, and always will be. So he's I know he's taking it hard, man. So I'm happy that he can get all his guys back, regardless
No
of how the
doubt.
season is going now. Like he could reminisce. Like I think Friday, Joe, they have in the they're replaying the game, right? The
Yeah, that's what
2003
they're doing. It's
national
a watch
championship game.
party. Yep. I want to take a shot with Coach, man. A shot of cognac or something. Hey, Coach, come on,
Shot of
take.
Pepsi.
You know, shot of.
That man ain't drinking. He might got to now. Shit, go ahead and take your little 1942 or some shit. Just go ahead and
Little
But no,
Ciroc, something.
I'm happy that he get to be back with his guys, man. I think Melo gonna be in the building. I mean, that's what I heard. I mean, it's a good chance that I think he's coming back. So, and I heard he
Yeah,
might bring his son as well. So we'll
that's
see,
what's up.
man. It's gonna be a lot of love. But now, Joe, if we can get that win, that'll make it even sweeter. We got to get that
Yeah, to
dub.
make it
Go
even
ahead.
sweeter, man. Hey, look, it's gonna be a great day, dog. Jersey in the Raptors again. Shout out to G Mac. I think this was long
For real.
overdue. He deserves it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Hack, the motherfucking block. You know what I'm saying? You think of Syracuse and you say the
Any
block. We know what block we talking about. You know, them
facts.
boys deserve it, man. Them boys deserve it. So it's gonna be, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm gonna take that nice good old drive from Montreal to Syracuse. You know, it's a straight line drive. You hit the 401. From the 401, you get to the Thousand Islands border. From the border, you're on 81, and it's a straight line drive, bro. I put myself in cruise. I put me on a little podcast, listen to a little Sam Cooke, whatever it may be, and I'm locked and loaded. And we in the queues, baby. You know what I mean?
That's well,
It
shit.
ain't
You
nothing
might.
like. Hey,
You
go
might as
ahead.
well put on that ED Chris Joe podcast coming up soon. You might as well hit that for the ride. Fuck it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I'm gonna let that ride out too. See how that shit sound in the car stereo. You feel me? Shit. See how that goes. See how that goes, man. But another
Before.
thing I wanted to mention. Oh, go
Oh, go
ahead.
ahead, Joe. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I didn't want to mention much. I just want to let the people know that I got two more of these bad boys right here, locked and loaded. I'm gonna be in the Q's this weekend, so if you
Ooh.
want to meet up, you know what I'm saying. It's the script jersey,
Those
large,
fire too.
Joseph
Fire.
32. You know what I mean. So it's two of them left. I'm there this weekend. No shipping. I'll ship it right to you. I'll drive right up to your porch, man, right up to your front door and hand it off, hand
Yeah.
to hand delivery, and we'll do it like that.
And
Yeah,
that's first class service right there. That's
the first
it
class.
can't you
Ding
can't get
dong,
much better.
hello, it's me.
Yo, make sure y'all cop them last two jerseys, man. They're gonna be gone real quick. And last thing before we get off, ED23 hoops. Where's that? You see it right here, man. Nice and clean. That logo looking nice and fresh. This weekend, March 4th, Solvay Community Center. Shout out to my guy Tom at Solvay. I know he listened. He texted me as he listened, man. Giving me, hey, you can appreciate you, Tom. Solvay
Shout
Community
out to
Center.
Tom.
Shout out to Tom. Saturday, Sunday, March 4th and 5th this weekend. We got boys and girls tryouts. So girls will be a Saturday. We have 12 and under and 14 and under. And then boys will be all day Sunday. We got 10, 12, 14, and 16 under teams. So you could sign up online right now, reserve your spot, or we'll accept walk-ins as well. And we got all the information on social media at ED23Hoops. Hey, Joe, man, we did the damn thing today, man. We covered a lot. We kept it 100. You know what I
Yeah, we
mean?
did. We did.
We gonna have a good
We kept it a
weekend.
hundo. We're gonna have a great weekend, man. Not good. We're gonna go good to great. And if anybody want one of these jerseys, make sure you hit me up either on Twitter, Monsieur Joseph, Real Chris Joe, or you hit me on Instagram, Coach Chris Joe. Hey, it's gonna be first come, first serve, man. We got two jerseys left. I see Dome Nachos. You get a jersey, I'll drop it off. I'll take two shots with you, my boy.
Make sure you hit if you want to get him, hit Jordan right now, Capozzi, with that address so we can get it to my guy Chris Joe. We'll see you this weekend. Everyone have a great one. You already know what time it is. We out.